If you want your questions answered in our Clueless Questions episodes, send in your questions to ain'tgotacluepodcast@gmail.com. All right, welcome to a very special episode of Ain't Got a
Ain't
Clue
got a
Question.
question.
Ain't got a question.
Ain't got a question. This ain't got a question, innit?
Ain't got a question? Are you guys both sure? Because there was a little stumble in the run up to that. Because I thought it was going to be a Dane Baptiste questions everything / ain't got a clue, or X ain't got a clue, or ain't got a question.
We're not allowed to use X anymore, man.
No, really.
He might have trademarked it.
Why?
That brother from that tech giant might have copyrighted it, so you don't even know.
Oh, you're not even mentioning by name anymore.
Yeah, I don't mention anybody by name like that.
Talking about
Like millions.
billionaire
Yeah, billions.
billions. Oh, billionaire space explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
Iron Man with an electric car.
Tony Dark, if you will. That being said,
Tony Clark.
Tony, you say Tony Clark? I much prefer Tony Clark. Oh my goodness! Well, point is, irrespective of what the designation is, we have all joined forces together in order for us to fight against sickle cell, a genetic blood disorder that mainly affects people of Black African and Black Caribbean backgrounds. Did you know?
It's very close to my heart.
It is very, very close to my heart. It's also, involves my heart when pumping blood around the body. A-level biology, y'all. Did you know, on average, that a sickle cell patient who receives blood regularly needs 100 blood donors every year to keep them alive?
Now, donors of Black heritage are actually 10 times more likely to have the right blood group, which is why they need people of Black heritage to start giving blood regularly.
It can be severely painful and life-threatening, but well-matched blood helps patients to live life to the full.
Absolutely. So NHS Blood and Transplant needs people of Black heritage to donate blood to help fight sickle cell. And that's why we are here together as a team to get under the skin of our relationships with health, hospitals, and the important mission of helping others by giving blood.
Yes. So let's kick it off then. So how are you guys with giving blood is the question that I'm going to ask you. And it's a bit of a jilted question because I kind of know the answer for one of you because I've done it with one of you and I haven't with the other. Right. So, let's take it from there. We'll discover who is who over the next few minutes.
Do we reckon we need to start like going on like outings as men, just like as if to just give blood as like it's something to do? Like, hey, bro, do you want to go? Do you want to go? Because I gave blood with Marcus, yeah. We went and gave blood. We went and gave blood. We went and gave blood, yeah.
Man, give blood. Nice.
Bro, I am tired. I have been doing tour dates after tour dates. Yeah. Anyway, we went to give blood. We went to give blood. Yeah, we went to give blood.
Nice. Did you do your snacks? You do your snacks. This is the thing.
Oh, they gave me so much sweets and stuff, right? I think it's worth going to give blood just for the sweets. And a chocolate.
That's one of my favorite parts.
And a crisp.
That's one of my favorite parts. I feel like I revert back to a little kid. You know, like when you used to go like a five-a-side, do a little five-a-side or whatever. You got like a little juice or crisp or chocolate at half-time or
after school.
Yes, that's what it was like, bro. Treat.
I was looking for.
Hold on a minute. They gave you. Calypso. So you what did you do for a calypso? That was a weird handstand. He was like, but for that calypso, I would do anything for that. You know. Listen, well, I'm not here.
I was looking for a
empower.
I was looking for a calypso, you know, so I could the straw you could put it in it. I was like, it did bring back memories of like wet playtime and that.
Wet plates. You guys sound. I mean, it sounds like a lot went on during your school times but I went to a school where I suppose it was a given that you would have refreshments provided because it was a rather prestigious grammar school. But back on the subject,
Sorry, what did you not have like foie gras and that for like lunch?
Well, not foie gras. However, I do remember because we was part of a collection of other grammar schools. We went to a school for rugby sevens. Yeah, I think it was called Haberdashers Adams, and I remember that this was like 94, 95, and they had key cards like contactless cards for their vending machines in 94.
What, in 94?
In 94.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
they had Oyster cards before Oyster cards.
Before Oyster cards, but they were living in digs because it was like a boarding school. They had chefs. And there's a difference between a cook and a chef because cooks wear aprons, chefs wear big old puffy hats. Because I remember when we went for lunch, there were two chefs that were working on the carvery, and I was like, it was it was better. It was like going to like like a gastro pub you go to now in like a gentrified area of London. It was like that. And I believe one of my friends might have stolen somebody's card so we could get a few things on at the vending machine. But don't worry, it was a victimless crime.
So how are you guys with giving blood?
To be honest, I'm okay with giving blood. The reason why is because throughout my life, I have had anemia myself. So
really?
Yes, I've had anemia for a large part of my life, and nothing's necessarily too severe because anemia normally means that you may have an absence of iron, but I've also had thalassemia as well, which is like absence of certain clotting factors, which means sometimes if you bleed, it might take longer for it to stop. So I've always had blood tests as a natural part of my life all the time, which was not necessarily a bad thing because when you have blood tests, it means you get to miss some school. What also happened to me as well when I was very young is that I used to do karate, and we were warming up and someone swung their leg back and hit me in the nose. And
I wonder how that feels. Dane actually elbowed me at football once, and I had bruising in my eye. So
see, you know what is, Marcus, yeah? Quick sidebar, yeah. Everyone's got their injury story about Dane did this to me and Dane did this to me. When you ask them for video evidence, it never exists. What no one ever tells you though is that all these times that Dane plays in 5-a-side and 7-a-side, that Dane is always on this winning team and a bag of people are always rage quitting. It's always these things, because if I was this brute on the pitch all the time, I'm sure that I'd have a lot more fights anyway. That aside, hitting the nose, yeah, with someone's heel, and I burst a capillary in my nose, and basically it meant that my nose would bleed profusely and I had to have it cauterized. But what it also meant it was that I could always make my nose bleed on command, which meant if I was just tap it a few times and it would just start bleeding. Because that's how delicate it was when I was a kid.
What a superpower that is.
It's a great superpower. Look, put it this way. If I was bored in class, tap, tap. Record a session in music class, nope, tap, tap. Wasn't enjoying the film being shown in wet playtime. I don't really care for the Never-Ending Story or Willow, tap, tap. Or I'm just bored on the carpet and I want to go home, tap, tap. And it was very useful. But
that if you were wearing white t-shirts, man, like that, your mom and dad must have been buying you white t-shirts all the time, bro.
Not really. Once you learn how to handle it, it's fine, because most people would try and, I came from the era where people thought if you had the nosebleed, you're supposed to put your nose back, but we all know now you're supposed to hold the bridge of your nose. So I was very well versed. Yeah, so I was very well versed in taking care of it, because if you put your nose back and the blood begins to coagulate, you're gonna choke.
You could get. I mean, going back to 5-a-side, you could actually pretend like someone's hit you and then go,
no, it's fine now. This is when I was a kid. Like, it's been cauterized now. So before they tried to, like, they froze it before, and obviously couldn't really stitch it. So in the end, they were able to cauterize it, and that's how I was able to handle it. But the point is that so far as blood tests, I've always been very au fait with blood. I'm also aware of blood tests because when I was 3 pounds when I was born. And my mum lost a lot of blood during the pregnancy, and so she's obviously a registered nurse herself, but she's forever grateful to the NHS because they were able to provide blood, because I think she lost about 5, maybe 3 or 5 pints of blood. Wow. The fact that there have been a number of Black African and Black Caribbean donors that were able to provide a supplement that blood loss is great for my mum, because she was able to be on the mend after giving birth. So yeah, when it comes to blood tests, man, trust me, crazy times. She was just on the phone a minute ago, but yeah.
Have you seen when you're giving blood? Do you ever look at it? When it's going into the thing and you're like, raw, my blood is coming out strong, bruv. That thing was getting filled up real quick. Like I just went like that a couple of times and it was like, and they were like, oh wow.
It's not a competition, but it feels like a competition, innit? Like I'm looking around going, look, I'm doing it fast.
It does. You're looking at other people and it's looking.
Give it a little squeeze. Give it a little squeeze with your ball. Give it a little squeeze as well. So
yeah, and you're also meant to squeeze your legs as well, your cheeks, innit? You're meant to squeeze your glutes.
In my head, when everybody's like things started going in, the Mario Kart music starts playing, like and I'm seeing whose one fills up first. I'm that competitive that I even turned that into a race.
Let's be honest, if we did do what Kay said, if we did go for a group blood giving thing, one of us, we'd all be calm and one of us would be like, yo, it looks like I'm going to fill this up before everyone in here. And there's going to be, the smack talk will begin. Whoever's last to fill up their bag, everyone's going to be like, nah, man, with your weak flow, bruv, you're crap, On the way home, guys are going to be like, no, what you don't understand is I didn't have enough sugar today. So, you know, people are going to be making excuses.
Is that
people
a disadvantage,
will be leaving WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
Is it a disadvantage if your blood comes out slowly, though? That's what I'm trying to work out.
It started.
Weak circulation and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you must be paying loads for your heating bills, that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I mean, I'm not sure necessarily. I mean, as I told you, I'm pretty much able to make myself bleed at will. So, yeah.
He basically Dana's thrown down the gauntlet, innit? He's like, test me if you want. Watch me beat you lot, filling up a bag of blood, because I can bleed on command. To be fair though, all of us can bleed on command. It just depends on what lengths we're willing to
go. Can we? The thing is, what's interesting though is that it shows me that none of us are squeamish when it comes to the idea of giving blood.
Oh, you can stick a needle in me, like, within reason. But, like, yeah, I'm not like, I'm just sticking a needle in me within reason, innit? Like, you could stick whatever you want, but, like, I don't care. Like, yeah, put a needle there, whatever. I look at the needle, man. I look at it, hit the vein, and then I'm like, do you know what I love? Yeah, do you know? I love compliments in it. Yeah. So when somebody goes, "Oh, you've got good veins," I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that was a compliment."
When they say that, that's a nice compliment, isn't it? Yeah, that's so nice. Oh, you've got lovely veins. Oh, look, I don't have to search for these.
Yeah. When people are going through, you know when they're going through people like squeezing the arm and that, and you're like, "No, look, mine are there, right there. I can show you. It's a oxygenated vein right there."
Is that something you put on a dating profile though? That's what I'm wondering.
100%.
Is that like, you know, good heart, so obviously good veins.
Exactly.
You know, blood tests when you need and stuff like that as well. But I mean, the blood thing.
I don't even put good heart. I've got a good circulatory system, so that covers all bases. Do you know what I mean?
That your veins are also good at carrying deoxygenating blood back to your heart as well. And
there we go.
Let's put the whole thing in there.
No atrial fibrillation around here.
Is it good? Yes, which is what is on the lips of a lot of singles nowadays. So I think it's important to highlight that out. Well, you have to consider longevity when it comes to dating. So I think it's very important. I think it's important that people aren't very squeamish. I think for me, I've never really been squeamish with the whole blood thing. Like, not even like in a weird way. I've always been able to do the separation between what is considered scientific and biological and what could be quite real. So not that I'm into like stylized violence, and I'm probably not somebody who can tell you what happened in all the Saw films. But at the same time, like when I see something like surgery and stuff happen on TV, I'd be like, "Oh, that's actually quite interesting. That's pretty good."
Well, it's like when you're going to the doctor. I think that distinction you made is really, really good. Like when you go to the doctor, like whatever they do to you is being done for your good, essentially. Do you know what I mean? It's not being done to like make you feel embarrassed. Do you know what I mean? Unless you've gone on a particular TV show.
A particular TV show. But even then, it's not really about that. It's the consultant and the specialist are there to kind of help with that as well, which is an important thing. I should say though, like on the subject of blood, I think giving blood is important. It's something I endeavor to do all the time. I've even got one of the color-coded cards, which based on the amount of donations you make, you upgrade to another color. So I think I'm due to upgrade to my next color, which I believe.
You know your blood type?
I think it's O rhesus positive. I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you can give blood to anyone.
Wow.
That's right. Listen, I don't just provide the best medicine. I also provide the best blood.
I'm a B minus, which meant my parents even still were like disappointed with me with that as well.
I'm B positive, so my parents were like mildly less disappointed than your parents were, just a little bit.
Actually, no, I think I'm B positive. Shit, yeah, I think we got. I think.
Yeah. Well, and there's blood types within that, innit? I'm RH. Exactly. What is it again? There's like what is it, Dane? You got into it, the RH. So I've got my card. I can go check it in a sec. But Reese's, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm O, which means can kind of give it out to people, which means my parents may have some misgivings, but they don't want to take that risk. Because they never know. Yeah. They might have to lean back on, man. So
I'm actually checking.
So basically, if you're listening to this, guys, what Dane's just done is, I'm going to tell you, Dane has put, if you're not watching this, he's put his hand on his jaw and rested it because he is flexed on me and Kay so hard with that.
If you want your questions answered in our Clueless Questions episodes, send in your questions to ain'tgotacluepodcast@gmail.com.
Hey, you almost let that go under the radar, but look, Dane leant forward, put his hand on his chin and went, "Yeah, just so you know, I'm an O." So what that means is basically your blood's quite whack compared to mine because
no, it just means next time
I can help the world.
The next time I supposedly elbow somebody in football, have a little suck on the elbow tip, man. get some of this energy. Get some of this life force.
Dane will just give 2 taps on his nose and be like, "Go on, then here's some. You want some blood? There you go, bro."
Everybody.
Do you know what? I just checked on the app. I am actually a B positive.
There you go.
Nice, my brother.
Which is actually my motto in life as well. There
Exactly.
You go.
Whereas mine is be aggressive, be aggressive, just like the cheerleaders in Bring It On. So I'll be honest though, I have to acknowledge that I am squeamish, not with like things like blood, I guess, and I guess what you would say are most of the bodily fluids, apart from one, which is ironically number 2. That's the one I struggle with. I think I've never spent a night in a hospital. We give tanks. But I think one of my greatest fears is having to use a bedpan. And it's not that bedpans are not amazingly ergonomically designed. It's not that I'm not aware that NHS staff are more than happy to help and accommodate people. But I still don't want to doo-doo on a bed. I feel like I've just come a long way from that. Like the last time I doo-dooed on a bed, I was very young and wasn't in control. But ever since I've been potty trained and been able to stand up on my own 2 feet, it's just been a point of principle for me, man. I just don't want to do on the bed. What about you guys? You ever had to?
I've never had to do on a bed, thankfully.
Bedpan?
I mean, I too don't want to do on a bed, if I'm honest, at all in my adult life. But yeah, when it comes to being squeamish about stuff, I'll be honest. Like you mentioned something, Dane, like horror films and like Saw films. And we're recording this in October at the moment, bro. But like horror films, they absolutely scare the life out of me. So when it's to do like with, like you said, when it's to do with scientific stuff, if it's a needle in my arm, it's fine. If it's like a bit of a cut on someone in the family and you're like tending to them, that's fine.
If they're making a RoboCop, the moment scientific, like if someone's making a RoboCop montage,
down with it.
Yeah.
If I'm watching RoboCop and a guy gets hit with the toxic waste and he's melting, that's science. That's pure. That's one of the best documentaries I've watched in my life.
9-year-old Dane did not sleep for a week, Marcus. Oh my days. Do you remember that?
That's what the line was. Anyway,
the original RoboCop.
Yeah, the original RoboCop.
Yeah, the OG one.
That made me question science. When he was like, "Help, man!" The guy was like, "Get away from me, man!" I was like, "This can't be the future. This can't be."
Do you know what I found really, really funny about RoboCop? Yeah, it was like surely if you like made a policeman out of a robot, he would be a lot more mobile than actual humans.
Yeah, but titanium's heavy. Titanium's heavy. The thing is,
and then when he put his hand in, it was this spiky, sharp thing, and he had to put it into the computer. You'd be like, surely it would just be like a USB. Like, do you know what I mean? Why did it have to be that sharp and need to go into the computer? Do you know what I mean? Like it was.
Yeah, that's like it wasn't those days. Maybe
there's a bit of a design flaw. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but maybe in those days, like that's how they foresaw things going. That's like the ultimate insecurity that, like, or maybe that's how RoboCop is able to get past the USB level security. Just like, oh, you got a little square there. Well, how about a sharp thing to just go deep in there? I mean, that's probably not the part that people focus on, like his interface, to be fair. People are just like, look at that big old gun in his thigh. I do agree though, okay? Like when it comes to RoboCop, it's like, I can really see you coming from a very long mile away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was nothing discreet about him. The guy was just really out here and over. And plus,
could you imagine him, in like a detective jacket and a hat trying to play it low key with glasses and a mustache on?
I could definitely.
I'm Robert. My name is Robert. I am not RoboCop. Yeah, that would be funny.
RoboCop.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Have you been to the hospital for anything, Marcus?
Yeah, man. I went to the. I'm fine now, by the way. But I went to the hospital because I had some headaches, right? So I didn't realize that having headaches that you didn't know the cause of, God bless the NHS, is something that could be very dangerous. So I was as quick as they possibly could, having a load of tests done, and it was one of the times. I think I've mentioned this to Kay briefly before, but it's one of the times where I experienced a needle that probably was scary, and I was glad that I didn't look at it because I had to get a spinal tap. to take a little bit of fluid out on my back. And that was one time when I have to say the people that were around me put me at ease to the point. Like, I got to say, like, big respect to the NHS for that. But that was one time where I was like, you know what? I don't want to look at the needle that's going into my back, because they showed it to me afterwards.
I wish I was
it's a
there.
big old needle that goes in there.
I wish I was there just to record your face while this is all happening, bro.
Oh man, I don't even. I think they suggested that I watch something like a TV show on my phone or whatever to take my mind off it. But bro, the phone was on, but I was just like, I think I was watching the back of my eyelids. But yeah, I went into hospital, and obviously you do loads of blood tests as well. So obviously I was out there showing off, flexing out. I could fill up 2 vials at record speed and stuff like that. But I think that's where the limits of my squeamishness is.
Yeah, I'll be real. I find like blood tests a lot easier than sports massages.
Yeah, you know what?
I'd say, yeah.
Some validity to that, actually, because do you know what I mean? Because I've never almost come close to involuntary passing wind when I've had a blood test. Do you know what I mean? Whereas...
Or you know, have you see when you have a sports massage, the pain that they put you through, at least with the needle, it's done. Like, but a sports massage, it's like, oh, that is one calf done, and you're like, hold on, wait, you're doing this to the rest of my body. What you just did to one muscle is happening to the rest of my body. And I'm going to have to go through this for 60 minutes. Bro, I've been close to tears. I
don't blame you, because the thing is, it's because a blood test, there's not really supposed to be too much prolonged discomfort other than when the needle goes into your skin. Yeah. And even then they'll go, small prick, and then you're good to go, start thinking. Whereas a sports massage, you'll be like, and they're like, it's going well, isn't it? There's a lot of tension here. Yeah. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think the only remaining
important for the black community to give blood. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's important for all communities, but it's particularly important for the black community to give blood in the case of sickle cell, because sickle cell is a condition which disproportionately affects people from the African continent as well as the Caribbean.
Do you know much about it?
I do know quite a bit about it. I think sickle cell has been, I think the NHS has been very effective in circulating and raising awareness about sickle cell and sickle cell trait. I think a lot of the time, especially having as many blood tests as I had due to previous conditions, I did have a lot of tests for sickle cell, and the NHS does make it a point of principle a lot of the time to test African and Caribbean black families for the sickle cell or sickle cell trait. Yeah. Because they're aware of just how hard it is for patients who have sickle cell to deal with that as a condition. Some very notable people have sickle cell. Members of TLC have sickle cell. The rapper Prodigy from Mobb Deep.
The first time I ever heard about sickle cell was Tupac. When he was
talking about Prodigy from Mobb Deep, who actually did have sickle cell. And a lot of time, I'd heard from a lot of friends and peers who may have had family members who were also patients who had had sickle cell, had also been affected by it, because, it can be very difficult. Because if you're not aware, basically, sickle cell is noted by the fact that some hemoglobin platelets form very differently. So instead of forming the disc shape that allows them to carry oxygen throughout the body, they have more of a sickle shape, which basically significantly reduces their ability to carry oxygen and can also lead to blockages in the circulatory system. But actually, do you know what? They say that it's a natural evolution that was produced by continental Africans, because sickle-shaped cells are harder for the parasite Plasmodium, which causes malaria, to digest.
Oh wow!
Yeah, fascinating. So, but to put it into my simple brain, like, and just to get out there, like, the fact that it's like you said, then a disproportionate number of black people or people with black and African heritage will carry the sickle cell traits, like you said. But however, our communities, all of our communities in this podcast, it'd be fair to say, statistically give blood less, right? And that's one of the things that, like, that's what rings home to me the most. Because I remember, and I'll be honest with my ignorance with blood, like, I did not know that I would be, for someone as mixed heritage, it will be best for me to have blood that has black heritage in it, or mixed heritage, or someone who has black heritage, or like Kay's Kurdish heritage, to have blood from that. I thought that, like a common meme that went around, like, all blood was the same, but that's not necessarily the case, is it? Like, we need to make sure that we're giving blood. And when that rang through to me, I was already giving blood a bit, but that made me feel like wow, like this is a little bit more important because I could be helping out someone else. Do you know what I mean? Because the fact that I am mixed makes me that I'm a number within a number. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, absolutely right, Marcus. And I think obviously that there have been some people that maybe a lot more squeamish than we are about giving blood, and it's important to assure them that it is a very safe and very efficient and not as painful as a process as people think it is. For me, like I said,
because tell you when the blood where your blood's being used, right? Like,
yes, so, they can do as well.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick, isn't it? Yeah, I like that.
Part, innit? So like when I remember one time when I gave blood, it was like, oh yeah, your blood's being used in a hospital in West London, and I was like, it makes sense. But do you know what I mean? Like, so you can actually see it being put to work.
Yeah. So, at what point did you go to the hospital, Kay, and demand you see the person that benefited from your blood so that they thank you in person? Did you?
I was literally like camped outside, like A&E, going, "Yo,
I believe you have a should...
Yeah. Hey, any Kurdish people in the house right now? Make some noise. I'm coming to find you right now, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I just started demanding the blood back. Right. Yeah.
It's funny because when you know what, Kay, because a few times we'd meet a few Kurdish dons and you'd say "What gone blood," but that blood would have that intonation of being a bit passive aggressive. You'd be like, "What gone blood?" So I totally understand, man. But it's always been a very intrinsically rewarding experience to give blood, especially because of my experience at birth, my mum as well. The reason my mum is here is because some people, great people from the African and Caribbean community were able to donate blood. So I thought it's only right that I continue to do the same myself. So I always try to donate whenever possible. Been doing so in earnest since university, which was not that long ago, I don't think, or maybe it was. I want to show you them out. And
when did you graduate?
2003, I think.
Yeah, because I graduated, like when I was looking at how long ago I graduated, I was like, oh, I'm old. I was like,
but never too old to give blood, which is the main thing.
100%. And well, that's been a very special episode. Thanks to NHS Blood and Transplant for making it possible. Giving blood is quick and easy, so come and join thousands of people giving 1 hour of their time to save up to 3 lives.
It's in our blood to help fight sickle cell. If you're the giving type, book now at blood.co.uk. That's blood.co.uk. And I speak for all of us when we want to say a big thank you for listening to this episode. And remember, what's the catchphrase, Dane? Question everything.
Dane ain't got a clue. Do you know what I mean?
Dane ain't got a clue. It's wicked.
I was going to say, first of all, if you would have allowed me, I was going to be like, safe blood, and then be like, see what I did there, and then you'd go, oh, and I'd be like, shut him out, blood. Anyway, blood, thank you for listening. And remember to question everything you don't have a clue about. Big up you guys.
Yeah, man.
Safe bloods.
It's been good catching up with you, Dane. And before we go, super quick one, right?
Yeah.
So you and I just want to be clear on this before we bounce. You said that you've suffered with anemia before, but you can still give blood, because I know some people think that they just can't. But you can, if you are signed off, you can. I didn't know that, and that's good. That's really good to get out there.
Yeah, no, you can definitely check. And when you do go and give blood, you can fill out a comprehensive form that will find out about your history of blood and if you are eligible to donate. But yeah, I had previously had some clotting factors when I was younger. But yeah, thanks to the help of the NHS in monitoring my blood, I am now more than eligible to give out all of my rhesus positive blood to anyone that may need it with the absolute and utmost pleasure. So, blood, I hope this has been enlightening for you guys. Always good to see you. I ain't got a clue why we don't see each other more often, fellas, but yeah, let's do it again soon.
It's all right, brother. I'll set up the WhatsApp group and we can go give some blood together. We'll go do it as a crew, innit? There you go.
Perfect. Peace, guys.
Peace.
Sweet.
If you want your questions answered in our Clueless Questions episodes, send in your questions to ain'tgotacluepodcast@gmail.com.